Hello, everybody. Apparently, I was speaking and I was muted. Sorry. I'm going to welcome you to the Human Capacity Building Seminar. It's going to be a very brief online session. We are going to take 2 hours of your time. I'm very grateful for all of you joining us to empower and encourage each other. We are going to go straight to our second session, and then God willing, if things progress as we expect it to go, we are going to bring you a lot of information later. And we trust that you are going to benefit immensely from this program. My name is Ferdinand Kranting, and I am a student of Hanyang University. I'm currently studying biology, and I've been in Korea for as long as I can remember, almost 10 years now. It's been a pleasure meeting a lot of friends from GHASKA, and today is no different. I'll take the privilege to inform you that I'm the host for today. If you have any questions, if you have anything you want to know about, do feel free to let us know in the comments. If you're having problems, any technical difficulties that we can help you with, also feel free to let us know in the comment section. We'll be monitoring it very closely to allow all of us have a very smooth running time. I'm not going to be the only one hosting you today. I'm going to be joined by Nanaya, and I'll allow her to introduce herself and also welcome you guys. So over to you, Nanaya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kranting. My name is Nanaya. I am in Kai today, John, and I'm very, very happy to be a co-host for this very, very promising educative session. Thank you very much. We hope that we all are able to enjoy this seminar because the executives have put in a lot of work and our resource persons are super, super ready to bless us with some knowledge and some, points of talking and all that. So we hope that we all enjoy it, and please take it away, Mr. Kranting.
All right, thank you very much, Nanaya. Very passionate and enthusiastic. I like that. I hope we are all ready for taking over the program. For the first item, we're going to invite Louis Kumi to do an opening prayer real quick. So over to you, Louis.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Shall we pray? Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed upon us. May you bestow your blessings after this seminar so that we may go out and spread what we've learned in the spirit of love and generosity. May we realize that this activity should glorify your name. This and many more we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Always wonderful to start a program with God. See all of us to the end. So we're going to take this time to invite the president of GHASKA, Mr. Dela Kwame Badago. It's the first time I'm pronouncing the name. All right, so we're going to welcome Kwame Dela Badago to give us a very quick opening remark and give us a brief idea of what we are going to expect today. So over to you, Dela. With the hand clap, let's just welcome him. You can use emojis or you can show a hand clap. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right.
All right. Please, am I loud and clear?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, our honorable hosts, Nanaya and Ferdinand. Greetings, everyone. My name is Dela Kwame Badago. I'm sure people are joining from Ghana, from the UK, and from all other parts of the world, including our own dear country, South Korea. We welcome you to today's event. Is the third in our series of online events for capacity building in terms of grooming ourselves towards the future that we aspire to achieve as students, as diasporans, and as academics. It is very important that whilst we search for higher learning, we also pave ways to prepare ourselves for what is ahead. I don't think we are even the future leaders. I say we are the leaders of today, whilst we are preparing to take higher orders and tax come tomorrow. So today we're going to have 3 main speakers speak to us. These are very furnished people with a lot of knowledge in both academics and also business. And so if you want to grow your business enterprise, or you want to grow yourself in academics, I'm sure you are in the right place. Get yourself a glass of water and just sit tight. Maybe you can add some snacks if you want, because this is going to be some awesome 2 hours of your life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from the office of the president of the Ghanaian student in South Korea and Associate GHASKA. And I also bring greetings from my fellow executives who are here with me, very able and hardworking people. I also bring greetings from also the committee that put this awesome event together. I salute all of you and I welcome you once again. I'm tasked to introduce the resource person, but I'm not sure if this is the right time. So I'll leave the host to rather tell me if I should go ahead or not, and then I'll wait to come again. Thank you very much. Welcome, and please enjoy the event.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Before we welcome the host, as all of us are ready and good to go, let's do a quick national anthem to recognize the fact that we are all Ghanaians, or mostly affiliated to Ghanaians, before we move on. So if Derek is ready, let's do the national anthem. Thank you very much, Derek. Choboy. Choboy. Yeah,
Hey.
when I say Choboy, you say yay, Choboy.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yay.
the national anthem, right. So kindly help us to interact with you by turning on your videos if you can. So as many as can do that, kindly turn on your videos so we can see your faces and see your smiles and stuff like that. Makes it easier for us to interact with you. That's right, that's right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, God bless you. So to go on, we're going to start our first session. We're going to start our first session, and for our first session, we have some resource persons. We are going to allow them to speak to us. We're going to interact with them. But before we do that, I think the president is going to come back in and briefly introduce the resource persons, give us a little brief background on them before our co-host Nanaya comes in to conduct the interviews with our first resource person. Over to you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, am I loud again?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. For the introduction, I will leave certain portions out for the resource persons to brief us on. So I will tackle only certain part of their professional career. Our first resource person is one of our very own brothers, who has been a very faithful member of GHASKA. He is a former GHASKA treasurer. He's been actively participating in all of GHASKA's events, and he is currently an assistant professor at Hanam University in Daejeon. his family has been a very close member of GHASKA over the years, and he's in the person of Dr. Samuel Boete. And today he'll be speaking to us on academics in Korea, what to expect and how to navigate the system. So please help me welcome Dr. Samuel Boete. With some emojis, some claps, that will be fine. No need to turn your mics on. All right, so we move next to one of our renowned brothers from Ghana. He's an alumni of the INSEAD MBA program and Oxford University said Business School. He has a lot of board level experience, when it comes to banking, insurance, hospitality, agro-processing, medical, real estate, and you can name them. And he currently sits on the board of Chobi Ghana Limited. Those who don't know, it's an agro-processing company. He's also on the Majesty's Hotel, on WASP Limited, on also the board of Houses for Africa Nigeria Limited, on Red Gold Ghana Limited, and he's also an executive director of Griffon Energy Africa Limited. So please help me welcome Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. All right, thank you. So welcome, Dr. Samuel Boete and Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. We go to our last but not the least honorable resource person amongst us. He's a senior colleague. I've been working closely with him for a few years now. He's actually joining us from the UK, and he's a chartered civil engineer trained in both the UK and Denmark. He has an LLM, that is a law degree, international law, from Strathclyde Law School. He's actually a counseling psychotherapist from the University of Strathclyde and an enterprise and entrepreneurship manager. For his professional achievement, he's actually the CEO and senior partner of McMensa and Partners. He's executive director of African Trade and Investment Consortium. He's also the founder and group chair of McMensa Group. He is the president and co-founder of the Global Union of Ghanaian Scholars, GUCS. He is also an executive chair and co-founder of the National Union of Ghanaian Student Association in NUCSA, UK, which is similar to what we have here as GHASKA. He is also the president and founder of the Global Alliance for African Scholars, GAS. And he sits also as the founder and board chair of Kwame Nkrumah Heritage Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other person than our very own Lord McMensa Cordier Apeti. Please help me give him a loud and a sweet applause as we also welcome him into the group of resource persons for today. So thank you very much, and these are your resource persons. Enjoy your day.
Thank you so very much, Mr. President. That was a very interesting rundown, very, very detailed background. I think I'm very inspired with all the accolades and titles and achievements. Thank you so much. And I want to go straight into our first category, where I am especially personally very, very excited. I'm very inspired by this first speaker. Dr. Boete, thank you very much for making time to join us. Very good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Okay, so with this first category, so we are going to be talking, just like the president mentioned, we are going to be narrowing down on life here in South Korea, especially after school, how we are able to navigate ourselves after we get our degrees, after we get our studies, how we are able to get jobs, how we are able to integrate into the Korean working environment. These are some of the talking points that we would be talking about with Dr. Boete. Thank you so very much once again. So in a very brief introduction, I know the president has already said a little bit about your profile, but we want to hear from you personally. Can you give us a brief introduction about yourself, where you come from in Ghana, your training, and what actually inspired you to come to South Korea for your studies and to actually stay here after studies? Dr. Boete.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nanaya, and good evening to our colleagues and those of us from outside who are also joining us. So as rightly said, my name is Samuel Boite, and in Ghana, I come from a small fishing community in Ada in the Greater Accra region. But a part of me is also from BA, Brong-Ahafo region. That's my mother's side. Yes. And for high school, I attended Okwapmai Senior High School in the Eastern region, completed in 2005. And then continued to the University of Professional Studies in 2007. So I completed 2011 and I did my national service, worked for 1 year in Ghana, and then came to Korea in 2013 to pursue higher studies. And so, yeah, that is a little brief background of myself. So I've been in Korea for, I'm in my 8th year now. I think next month will be exactly 8 years since I first landed in Korea, all in pursuit of higher studies. Yes. And then talking about, you asked about what inspired me to, yes, what inspired me to come to Korea, is that right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. So what inspired me, I think at a point in my life, I think somewhere during my working time in the corporate environment, I realized that I was not much programmed for the office work. And I knew that I am more kind of more efficient and also love teaching. I mean, engaging people. And so I decided to sort of change the career. And so that was what got me started to look for opportunity to pursue that higher education so that I can be able to do what I really wanted to do, which is to teach at a higher level. And so in the course of searching, I got Korea, and that was actually what brought me here.
Yeah, so I think you've already even answered my next question, but let me follow up with being here 8 years ago compared to right now, how it is now in Korea. How was your first few months when you arrived in Korea 8 months ago? How was the feeling? How was the environment? How was the hospitality? Is it the same like now? Was it worse? Was it better? How was your experience the first few months in Korea 8 years ago?
I think, truly speaking, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. When I first came 2013, I happened to find myself in Jeonju. And I think those of you who may have a little bit knowledge of Korea and different provinces, Jeonju is more of a conservative society or environment. And at the time, 8 years ago, the number of Blacks in Jeonju, I mean, could be counted. And so it was really, I will not use the word hostile and no, but it wasn't much welcoming. So I remember my first impression was, wow, I think I made a wrong decision coming here. And what got me going was also the fear that if I go back to Ghana, I had to go start all over because I left my work not really exciting because my employers were not happy I was leaving. And so I had to leave because I was convinced that was the right thing for me. And so coming back and see that kind of environment, the unwelcoming nature, I felt like I made the wrong decision. But also I knew that if I go back to Ghana, going to start all over again, we're going to take another time. And so I just challenged myself to see if I could survive. But comparing that time to now, many things have changed. I've been to Jeonju, I've been there several times, I mean, again, after leaving Jeonju. And I mean, the things have changed in terms of people's approach to you, and also even the Koreans, their approach to foreigners have changed much a lot. Yeah.
Very, very interesting, because I think a lot of us could relate to the story where you are stuck, like when you go back to Ghana, it's like Red Sea if you come back. So you just have to be motivated and stay and then look for it. So okay, thank you so much. And so with us now, the Ghanaian community especially, there is this notion, it's very, very common among us, like the community, the fear of being unemployable here in Korea, especially after school. So a lot of us feel like we would not be able to get befitting jobs even after we get our PhDs or masters or bachelors or something like that. It looks as if we have that phobia of not being able to fully integrate into the working environment of South Korea. You have been doing very well in that field. So that is why we are very happy to have you today. What is your opinion? What are your experiences? What do you think that is creating this notion in the minds of the Ghanaian community that are very educated and feel like they cannot be employed in South Korea gainfully or meaningfully compared to if they were in Ghana? Because I think if you have a PhD in Ghana, maybe your chances of getting a job are maybe higher than if you are in Korea, because even the language barrier is number one, the race is number two. So it's actually very difficult to get a job, especially in your field of study after work. But you have been able to do so well. What are the points? What are your advices? What were your challenges? What could you tell us to be able to overcome this phobia, Doctor?
Yes, thank you so much. The truth is, it's true that on the surface, getting work in Korea seems to really be difficult, especially for foreigners. And it is no secret that, PhD is actually nothing much in Korea. There are a lot of PhD holders in Korea. I think one of the things that inspired me to pursue higher education from Ghana was also the fact that in 2011, right after first degree, I went to Legon. I tried to enroll for my master's MPhil in accounting, and I was told that, look, the number of supervisors available for the MPhil and PhD programs were few. And so the chances are limited for the number of applicants they could take. That tells you that in terms of comparison, the number of PhD holders in Ghana and then over here, there's a huge disparity. Over here, many people are, coming out every year as PhD holders. And so on the surface, yes, it looks true that the opportunities are few. But that notwithstanding, there are also few opportunities available for foreigners. And not me alone, I have actually met even Ghanaians, some other Ghanaians who are doing pretty very good. There is a brother of mine, I would not like to mention his name because he hasn't given me the permit, but I'm just tell a little bit of his story. And he's doing very good. Just this semester, he tells me he's been engaged by a university, and initially was just for research work. And by the end of the semester, which just ended, they have decided to allocate him courses to teach. And this is in the process of leading to eternal position, which I believe could happen to him. And so, yes, there seems to be that kind of limited chances, but there are also opportunities. Now, this is what is happening. Because of the globalization, the concept of globalization, which the Koreans are embracing. Now, in most universities, there are policies where each department, I don't know most of your university, but where I am and most of the universities in the region I know of, where even if the courses are all taught in Korean, there is the requirement that there have to be one foreign faculty in that department who would teach courses, some categories of courses in English. And that is what I am doing. So when you come, so sometimes people call me like, oh, okay, what do you teach in Korean? I said, no. So in my department, everything there is taught in Korean, but then the university as a policy says that there should be one foreign faculty who would teach some special courses. And these are elective courses, actually, but they have to be taught in English. And the concept is to train the students as a preparation towards the global job market, so that that lesson will not make them to speak English and become proficient, as we may, but it prepares them to face the work environment. And also, more importantly, when they decide to go into the master's program, it helps them a lot, because writing thesis in English and all that. So there are many universities in Korea now that are doing that. And just even this year, I've seen some few advertisements from some universities that are advertising for foreign faculty. They tell you these courses are to be taught in English. Yes. Now, the next thing is, it has to do with the expectation or the requirement. You know, when I started, I actually started teaching 5 years ago when I just enrolled into the PhD program. Yes, and so I'm just continuing after the PhD program, just continue. Now, at the time, this is what happened. I just finished the master's and was thinking, okay, so what next? I was looking for opportunity for PhD. I knew my universities doesn't have the funding for PhD sponsorship. And so I was thinking of where to move to. And then just then, a professor who was teaching this course that I'm teaching here suddenly resigned. And so the position was advertised. Now, the requirements were you should have a minimum of master's degree, and then also should have some research output or industrial work experience. Now, this is what I did. I quickly had to call Ghana and receive my national service certificate because I only worked for 1 year after national service. But you know, in Korea, the work certificate they're looking for is something that certifies that indeed you've worked for this institution for this period of time. And so when I got knowledge of that, I called for my national service and also contacted my previous employers in Ghana I described to them what is needed in terms of the employment certificate. So I got those two things, which gave me 2 years of working experience. I didn't have the teaching experience, but I was fortunate during the master's time. I think because I knew I wanted to go into to be in academia, I started working on some research papers on my own, individually, on my own, personally. And those papers were not published at the time. I had 3 papers at the time. They were not published, but I turned them in. And so I sort of just met only the minimal requirement, nothing further than that. The only advantage probably was because I also did accounting and looked for someone with accounting, but there were 3 people who applied for that job, and 2 of us were called for interview. And well, let me say it was by God's grace because I literally met only the minimal requirement. And that was what took me to that position. And so so let me say that this is what is happening for the benefit of our listeners. Now, as I said earlier, some universities have made this provision that there should be 1 foreign faculty in each department. And it's towards preparing the students to face the job market, the global concept. And so the requirement for these positions usually is about master's minimum. And then some research output, which is very, very, because in Korea, the focus is research. As for that, they don't joke with it. It has to do with research. And so if you are currently pursuing your master's, then you have to take your research and work very seriously. Either you get some of them published before graduation, or you get them in the process of publication, and that will also be helpful. So this is what happened to me at the time, and I took advantage of that. Yeah.
Your story is very inspiring. It looks like I'm watching K-drama. Okay, so let me remind our listeners and our audience, please, you can drop your questions in the chat room. Any question you have pertaining to what we're discussing or what we are going to be discussing from here, please don't hesitate to drop your questions in the chat box, because we are going to ask the resource persons the questions later on. So any questions you have, anything you want to know, any clarifications you would want to get, please drop your questions in the chat box and we are going to get to it. And so, Dr. Boateng, do you, comparing the work environment in Ghana and then Korea, are there any differences? What are the major differences that you would say you have experienced in the working environment of South Korea and then the Ghanaian working environment?
Yes, in Ghana, I didn't get a chance to work in the academic institution, but in the corporate world, I had about 1 or 2 years experience. And comparing it to what I've experienced here in the academic environment, there are huge differences. There are differences between these 2 systems. I think in Korea, we all know that there is this hierarchical order in the society. And the same thing pertains even in an academic environment. And so if you are working either in the corporate environment or in an academic institution, I think the first important thing is to know who is who. And when I say who is who, it has to do with the ranks and titles. And Koreans actually value that. Let me also drop this before I come. Even when you are having an interview, I mean, when you go to academic, applying for an academic position, Koreans will always love this. Is what I mean. I got to know later part when just this year, they will love for you to call them like Dr. So and so, or Dr. Maxwell, Dr. John, Dr. They love that because it's important to know who is who. That's very important for the Korean environment. And so for me, getting into understanding that, it gives me the ability to know how I relate to all these players, so that you know when to talk and when not to talk, because seniority plays a major role in a Korean working environment. Very, very important. And then sometimes, let me say, because of, it's part of my strategy. Sometimes things that I know, I already know. Sometimes I meet my HOD and he or she tried, because they've changed over the years. Every 2 years, the HODs change. They try to tell you again. I try to, yes, I pretend as if, yes, I'm now hearing it for the first time, just to give them, because I've come to appreciate how important, and they love to feel that they are teaching you something new. They love that.
Yeah.
And this is the environment. And the second thing also is has to do with the working environment is formed around units or cells. This start off. And so if you are working in the accounting department, it's like you have to identify with that department. So that even when we go for programs, like seminars or faculty seminars and all that, training workshops, you could see accounting professors sitting in one corner and the management, kind of things. And I don't know why, but I came to understand that I have to follow. I just realized that we work around those cells, and so you follow that. And then appreciation is also very important in the Korean environment. I didn't know that. But then over a period of time, I realized that like the Chogyos or the assistants, research assistants that we work with, like every department has research assistants. At least once in a semester, you got to take those ladies or gentlemen out for dinner or lunch. You got to do it. It's very, very they don't ask you. And
it's very necessary. It's very necessary.
But you just have to do it. Because that's the system. Because sometimes when I go out with my church, it's like, oh yeah, we came to the accounting department to be assistants because we heard that you guys treat people very well.
Oh,
it's like there is that information out there. That helps you a lot. They are really ready to provide, even if you don't understand the Korean language, where your proficiency is limited. They are ready to go to the extent of helping you translating in English and all that. When they send emails to you, they will call you again because of the relationship. So it's like the environment, first know who is who, and that helps you to relate, with these people. And then secondly, understand that the system works around these classes, these groupings, so that you have to love your group and follow your group.
Yeah.
And the thirdly is how you treat, especially those, behind you, in the working environment, if you're juniors or the Koreans. You shouldn't always expect to receive. There is always that need to also, gather people, take them out for lunch or dinner. It helps a lot. And for me, I think that has been one of the things that has carried me through over the period. The Chogyos have been so much helpful for my work because everything is in the Korean language and you need someone to carry you through. And so that. And then last one, if you happen to be in the academic environment, so this is what I did. I don't know how I came to that understanding, but then suddenly along the line, I realized, okay, it's good to create relationship with my professors in the department. So I decided to write research papers with most of them in the department. So I just take a topic and I go to the professor. I say, okay, professor, and this is when I was teaching as an assistant professor. I started, okay, professor, I have this topic and I'm thinking of how we can write and the data and all that. They say, oh, okay, let's look at it. So we look at it, we discuss, and then they brought the idea, we discuss, and I go back alone. I have to write a paper and bring it back. And then we discuss, and then we ended it. They became the corresponding author, became the main author. We published it. I moved to the other one. So within a space of 4 or 5 years, I've almost written a paper with more than half of the faculty in my department.
Wow.
And so that relationship, they have something that they can relate. So our paper has been cited here. Somebody will say, when you meet someone, this paper, and that to me kind of draws you into the core of these people. Who are the key, who matters about your sustainability in the department or your continuity, because also for the faculty, the foreign faculty, the turner position is not much available, but you get 2 years renewal contract. That's what is happening, 2-year renewal contract. And for your contract to be renewed, somebody has to say that, yes, let's renew it. These are some of the things that, I mean, to me, in terms of the cultural environment, the relationship, who is who, and then how you treat people, I think it's very, very important.
These are like some Bible, like the Holy Grail. Like if you want to be successful, this is very, very, very insightful and educative. Thank you so much, Dr. Boate. And so this is, I think, our last question. Do you think that being in the diaspora like you now, you are not directly working in Ghana, you are here in Korea? Do you think you could be in Korea or in the diaspora and still contribute directly or indirectly to the homeland Ghana?
Yes, I believe so. But let me also say that before coming to Korea, my intention actually was to finish and go back. I didn't envisage this whole thing happening to me. And that's why earlier on I said, I mean, the conclusion is just by the grace of God. I mean, I didn't have these ideas. But yes, even here, there are many ways that we can contribute. And let me give a practical example. The last time I visited Ghana, I visited my former university and had an engagement with the current dean of the university, of my former university in Ghana. And through our conversation, we decided, okay, why not forming some exchange program between the current university here and the university back in Ghana. And so I am here, but I'm trying to look at how I could connect these two universities, my current university here and my previous university in Ghana. And I'm still in the process. We haven't concluded yet. If that happens, what it means is that there is going to be that transfer of knowledge, which at the long run is going to help, I mean, in the university and then the society as a whole. And so, yes, even whilst here, there are ways that I believe that I could help, which is one of the things that I'm doing currently. Secondly, I believe that through our research works, you know, the truth is that we don't have those who are in the research in the science labs, and we don't have most of the things that are being used here. We don't have them in Ghana. But through our research work, we can share our research output with back in Ghana through advocacy. There could be a policy out there in the media, and maybe you might have researched that thing over here in Korea because you have the means or the tools, and you know the true, result because you have the empirical evidence. We have the civil society groups today who are very vocal in national development, are making very, positive impact. So you can join one of them, though you are outside, and your research output could help shape policy formulation in Ghana. You might not be present to be in leadership alone, but your research output through some of these civil society organizations can help champion how we form our policies and transform our society for the better. Yeah, so I believe that irrespective of where you are, you can still make a positive impact in our national development.
I wish we had like 1 hour, because like you keep telling us the stories because you have the experience, and it's very, very practical, and we are relating, and I wish we had like the whole day to talk about this because it's very, very practical. Thank you so much, Dr. Boate. Can I have your last words because we are out of time? So can we please have your conclusion remark?
Thank you so much. And I want to thank GHASKA and the viewers, our participants, for this opportunity. The truth is that I have met, Ghanaians doing great things here in Korea. I don't think I am actually the most qualified person to, take this first series. I believe there are many people there. And so I just want to encourage everyone out there. Networking is very important. There's a brother I have in a higher university than I am now. And in their university, they have this system where they share information of jobs availability in higher places of institution. And because of our networking, he sometimes even sends some of these informations to me. And so let's get connected through GHASKA, through people that we know, and also get prepared. As I said, research and all those things, get the things prepared. There are few opportunities, but I think the grace of God, Ghanaians, we are very positive when it comes to things of God. And I think God has been faithful to me. So he will be at any time. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Samuel Boate. This has been a very insightful, short interview, but very, very power-packed with practicality. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you. We hope to invite you back again in our next seminars. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Yeah. I think I'm going to hand over to my co-host, Mr. Cranting. Do we have any questions from the audience, please?
Currently, there are no
Mr. Cranting.
questions yet. Currently, there are no questions yet, but I believe that everybody is thinking about what Mr. Boate said, and they are trying to compare their own situations. So the questions might come from in later.
At the end, okay. Okay, and so because we are very pressed for time, we would move on to the next category that is going to be handled by Mr. Cranting, my able co-host. Please, Mr. Cranting, take it over.
Thank you very much, Nanaya. Thank you for your enthusiasm and passion once again. I think I have to put in more energy into mine, do some push-ups and make this conversation very interesting, at least as interesting as you. All right, thank you very much. We are going to go on to our next resource person. He's in the person of Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. Our president has spoken a lot about him, and I'm looking at his CV right now. It is very full. It's a very, very full CV. And I'm very happy.
A very intimidating CV.
Exactly.
Very, very intimidating. With so many achievements.
That's champion vitals. And I'm very, very, very happy and privileged to welcome again Mr. Nathaniel Jonah to have a very brief conversation with us. So if you are excited as I am, just put your hands together and let's welcome Mr. Nathaniel Jonah.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for having me. And congratulations to you guys for putting this together. I think it's a wonderful exercise. And if you can keep it going, I think it will be very good. I am hoping I'll be able to contribute something. But more importantly, I'm hoping I'll be able to learn a lot from you guys as well. The CV is not intimidating. What is intimidating is talking after Dr. Boate. You knew that Dr. Boate was going to be like this. Why didn't you put me before him? Why do you allow me to talk after Dr. Boate? I do not understand this. But, okay, be it as it may, Doctor, thank you very much. I've learned a bit from you as well. And you've set the bar really high. So when my internet starts messing up, know that it's deliberate. I've intentionally done it.
Pressure. Thank you very much, Mr. Nathaniel Jonah, for the wonderful opening remarks. Very funny, very exciting. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the questions that we have for you. First of all, I just want to briefly know, since it's also my first time of meeting you, I just want to briefly know, how did it all start? With your childhood, with your growth and development, how did it all start? I mean, we are seeing the CV as like the end of it all, or somewhere in the middle, more like it. But we are very curious, how did it all start?
Yeah, well, a bit of a background. So I was born in England, moved to Ghana very young age. Primary school in Ghana, secondary school, St. Augustine's College. After secondary school, I went to university in London. I was in American College in London, where I studied business administration. Right after that, I moved back to Ghana, worked in an investment bank called Sterling Financial for a couple of years, for about 6 years. And then I went to business school in Singapore and in France and in INSEAD. And after that, I moved back to Ghana. So I've always had the Ghana in mind. I never really wanted to live anywhere else. And it's in short, such a short story. I sat on the board of Holland Metropolitan Insurance for about 10 years. Sat on the board of Houses for Africa. Currently sit on the board of Houses for Africa, where we are developing about, I think, 7,000 homes in Nigeria, as I speak to you now. I'm also with Chobi Ghana Limited, which is an agrochemicals company. We do fertilizer, pesticides, all that type of stuff. And then I also, I'm with a company called GHASKA, which is the largest document management company in Ghana, where what we try to do is to move all paper-based documents into digital libraries and to make things easier so that when Dr. Bote has to check his national service stuff, he can just go online and pull it without having to talk to anyone. Yeah, so there are a number of things that I'm doing. I think I was born into a family of business, and growing up, I think I was lucky to have surrounded myself with people who were very acclaimed. I mean, be it my father, be it my uncle, be it their friends. So I always had the advantage of thinking a little bit bigger than most. And I always knew that you never needed money to do anything because other people had money. You know, and everything that a lot of people do, you think about a brilliant idea and you say, but you know, the investment required for this, I can never have it. You know, I knew very early in my life that no one ever has money. And you can never have enough money to do a big project. You just need to be able to know where to go to raise money. And that's necessary. So I cut my teeth very early in business. And I must say, I was thrown into the deep end as well as part of my training. You know, when I first sat on the board of Metropolitan Insurance, I must have been maybe 27 years old. Okay. The youngest person on the board, apart from me, must have been maybe 43, 44. So I got thrown into so many deep areas and I had to survive, you know, in these areas. And I think that helped the learning process and, you know, helped me speed up a little bit. So luckily, because of all this type of training and my socialization, my general socialization is such that, you know, I learned a lot, you know, environment plus academia plus everything else. And I built quite a good network as well.
Thank you very much for the wonderful background. I'm actually very much amazed that you've been able to achieve so much in such a short time. It's very encouraging, I must say, if not intimidating. I'll go with the other side, encouraging. I'm very optimistic about my own prospects.
Remember, you only hear about the wins. You don't hear about the losses.
All right, thank you for bringing that up because I want us to really look at the downsides in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, I just want to find out what was the factor that put Ghana on your heart so much? What made you so passionate or so interested in wanting to work closely with Ghanaians, Ghana, and trying to, you know, build up whatever you're building up in Ghana right now?
You see, I've always been very entrepreneurial in the way I think, okay? And ambition-wise, I've always been extremely entrepreneurial. Now, when I sit in Korea, I sit in an advanced economy, okay? In fact, it's so advanced, it's boring. Everything works, okay? Now, there's some time ago in life where Korea used to be like Ghana. And that's what gave birth to the likes of the Samsungs and the Hyundais and all these people that you see today, okay? So for me, I mean, Ghana had so much to complain about, you know, and I tell people all the time, everything you have to complain about when you come to Ghana is an opportunity to make money, okay? Or an opportunity to build a business. The question is it big enough for you or not? You know, simple as. So for an entrepreneur, I felt like one, I had the network in Africa necessary for me to succeed in Africa. That's one. Two, I thought there were a lot more low-hanging fruits in Africa than there are in any advanced country. I mean, I lived in Singapore, for crying out loud. Everything works. What are you going to do in Singapore? You know? So one was the network. Two were the opportunities that sat in there, you know? And when I say network, you know, we all have a network, and now with social media, the network has become even smaller, right? So before they said it was 6 degrees of separation. Now it's almost like 1 or 2 degrees of separation. Even if you're on LinkedIn, I can guarantee you any of you type my name in LinkedIn, and I'm sure you have one person who knows me in between us. You get what I'm saying? So yes, I think these are the two main things, the opportunities and the network. In Ghana, you hear a lot of people say something and they say, as for Ghana, a lot of things you do is who you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you will find out very soon that it's not just Ghana, it's everywhere in the world, but it's just on different levels, okay? Now, given the kind of network that one has in Ghana, right, it's relatively, it's not easy, but it's relatively easier to be able to leverage on that to be successful in doing other things, you know. So it's mainly these two things, like I said, the network and opportunity.
Thank you very much. Networking and opportunity. I hope we are all taking notes and we are trying to compare whatever Mr. Jonah is telling us about with our own personal situations. And if you have any questions, do feel free to drop them in the chat box and we are going to address them to Mr. Jonah very soon. Okay, moving on. You were talking about the aspect of you being entrepreneurial and the networking and opportunities that you had, but I must say that it helps to actually live abroad, have different kinds of exposure to be able to see things in a different light. So I want to ask you, Mr. Jonah, what in your experience with regards to exposure helped you see things differently? How did living abroad help you see differently with regards to how every other Ghanaian might see things living in Ghana alone?
I lived in different countries. I lived in France, I lived in England, I lived in Singapore. And I think, I guess it's the art of the possible, okay, is what I was exposed to and what I learned from living in different countries. Because you take a country like Singapore, they have nothing, but they've been able to work a lot of magic with just people, okay? Working in different environments, being able to really understand and put things in very simple terms. You know, like you work in Ghana and you see a lot of people overly complicate things that are, you know, really simple things that can be handled. But because of the way they are trained, and sometimes they're a bit too close-minded, you know, in the way they think about things. So their focus is always about why it cannot happen, not about how can we make it happen. You get what I'm saying? And it's a completely different way of thinking about things. But so for me, I think exposure is key. But I'll tell you this: exposure does not mean living in another country. Okay, exposure is actually living in the country. So I'll give you an example. When I went to university, 2 days before I left Ghana, because I went to university in London, my father called me and he said to me, he says, Antonio, you know, I'm sending you to university in London, but I'm not sending you to the classroom. I'm sending you to the school. Okay. Now, what this means is that it's very easy for you to go to school in Korea, have one Ghanaian flatmate. You go to class, you take notes, do everything you're supposed to, come back to your room, cook your banku and tilapia, eat. Next day, go to class. Nice routine like that. Go and meet the other Ghanaian guys in another school, have a drink, laugh, come home, do all of that, get a first class upper, PhD or QYS or MBD, whatever you want to call it. And then you come back to Ghana. You have not gone to Korea. You're in Africa, Korea branch. You understand? Yeah. So exposure is about traveling well. And one problem a lot of Ghanaians have is that we don't travel well. And when I say we don't travel well, we don't immerse ourselves in the society. If you come back to Ghana after living in Korea for so long, and you can have 5 friends who can travel to Korea, from Korea to visit you in Ghana, you are not in Korea. You understand what I'm saying? You are not in Korea. I mean, you have to take advantage of this opportunity to network properly. Because look, in everything that we talk about, education, the most important thing is people. If if you manage to network yourself right with the right people, your life will be easy. Like Dr. Bote said, look, I mean, on a much, not lower level, but a much different level, taking people out for dinner, there will come a time when they say, should we renew? There should be 5 people who will stand up and say, of course we should renew. You know, this man is a big addition to our school, and it's not because of what he knows, but you have to network properly. It's a people game. You get what I'm saying? I went to school in Singapore, okay? Today, my business partner for my biggest business is Jong Song Lee, who just signed in now. He's Korean. He was my flatmate in school.
Mr. Jonah, you're muted. Kindly unmute yourself, and could you repeat what you said the last
Where did I go off?
After you introduced Mr. Johnson Lee.
Yes. So like I'm saying, today he's my partner for my biggest business. I do it in the world today. Okay. I'll give you an example. There's a company called Kasapa. I'm sure a lot of you may have known Kasapa. It was a telecoms company. And about 10 years ago, I wanted to buy Kasapa. Okay. So I was thinking about it and how to go about it, and where to raise money, and I started talking to different people. And on my way to China, I stopped to have dinner with my other flatmate. His name is Shane Shessen. He runs a $1 billion fund today, and there's a company called Gojek. I'm sure some of you know about it in Asia. He invested in Gojek. So I stopped to have dinner with him in Hong Kong. Now, I could have gone straight to China, okay? But he's in Hong Kong. So I called him. I was like, listen, let's have a drink. He's like, yeah. So I stopped for one night. I had dinner with him. And during the conversation, he said, Nathaniel, what are you up to? So I told him, I said, look, I'm trying to buy this telecoms company. I need guidance on how to. He used to work for Merrill Lynch at the time. So as soon as he heard Kasapa, he said, I think I've heard this name before. I said, well, it's owned by Hutchinson International. He said, exactly. He said, I am the portfolio manager for Hutchinson International. Nathaniel, don't touch it, because China Mobile are about to make an offer. And once China Mobile move in, these are going to be the implications. I was like, Jesus Christ, thank you. So I spent one night in Hong Kong, and that night saved me God knows how much money and how much time. Okay, so it is a people thing. You need to network with people. We do what do you call it? Steve and I, Johnson Lee, who will tell you, we do reunions where we organize it ourselves, where we bring people from all over Africa who went to our business school, and we spent time here. I left Ghana. I went to Thailand for my friend's bachelor's. You know what I'm saying? So all these things is to keep it going. You know what I mean? So exposure is key, but don't think because you're traveled, you're exposed. No, you can travel and still be in Ghana, Sorry, I think I overtalked a little bit.
It's very interesting, the things you're sharing with us. I wish we had more time to go very deep into a lot of the things you're saying, but for the benefit of all of us listening, I just want you to address 2 more questions, and then we'll bring our conversation to an initial conclusion before we take other questions. The first part of the question I want to ask is, being in the industry you are in as a businessman, who is mostly focused on leadership, strategy, and through that you've been able to expand your network and achieve some of the goals that you've set for yourself. What were some of the challenges that you faced personally working in the Ghanaian environment? That is the first question. And the second question is, what would be your words of encouragement or your final words to a lot of the students here who are listening to you, who are having similar ideas or similar dispositions with regards to the future in Ghana? What would be your words of, you have to know this, you have to know that, and if you are going to do this, you have to move in this direction, move in that direction? What would be some of your words of encouragement with regards to that? So over to you, Mr. Jonah.
Thank you very much. With regards to challenges, I think, first of all, the economy is always a challenge, okay? I mean, depending on where you work on, you cannot isolate yourself. And if you're in an economy where the dollar is, you know, gaining value on you all the time, and you know, different things are happening, it's challenging. That's very challenging. Secondly, I think culture is quite important. I mean, when you've lived all around the world, and you know, you're used to doing things a certain way, and then all of a sudden you come back and you know the meeting is at 7 o'clock and everyone turns up at 8:30. You know, sometimes you have a scheduled meeting at 7 o'clock. You wake up early in the morning, you get there, and the person is not available for 4 hours. I'm sure Mr. Lee will tell you that when he's in Ghana, sometimes we sit down for 5 hours waiting for a meeting which takes 3 minutes. You know, so culturally, that's an issue as well. I think one of our problems, which I think gradually, you know, is changing, is because, you know, the government space is quite big and influential in Ghana, right? And politics is very important, and people get scratched by politics the wrong way. So I can give you an example. 3.5 years before MTN started mobile money in Ghana, I had a product called Speed Transfer. And Speed Transfer is very similar to what mobile money is today. I had signed up my anchor bank, which was ADB. I had signed up about 7 other banks together. Bank of Ghana had given me a conditional approval. And all of a sudden, governments changed. As soon as new government came, because ADB was my anchor bank, canceled it straight away. You know, to put it in context, MTN came to see me when they wanted to launch mobile money because I was way ahead of them. So they wanted to see what we could do together. Today, MTN are doing, I think in the first quarter of this year, if I'm not exaggerating, maybe 200 billion in transfers or something like that. It's crazy. I mean, they're doing 1 million times what the banks are doing. Okay, so I could have been that MTN mobile money man if it wasn't for politics. But the good thing is then I don't have time for you guys. But now that I'm poor and I'm still where I am, you know, I have all the time for you. So yeah, politics plays a big part as well. That's also another challenge. The third challenge too is access to funding. Okay, the Ghana secondary funding market is not as big, right? So for very small money, you find yourself having to, you know, look beyond the borders of Ghana, having to try and raise money somewhere else. You know, I'm doing a project now, which is a cable car project, where, you know, the suspended cable car project, where I'm trying to do it from Malam to Accra Central. We'll have 7 stops, 11 kilometers. It's about 130 million investment. And for 130 million, I'm having to call people in Dubai, drop it to do this and that. We don't have, and I should be able to go to SNIT and raise this money overnight, okay? But we don't have that solid type funding base, you know? Again, that's why, again, I'm saying travel properly, because you need to make relationships where you can leverage on the relationships, where when you're in Ghana, you can call on Mr. Lee and say, listen, I have a deal here. Do you think Korea XM can come in? You say, let me call someone in Korea XM for you. So again, that's a very big challenge, access to funding. And then the third one is the attitude of people to work as well. You know, when you have the productivity of people who work for you here, I mean, it's challenging. Unfortunately, you find yourself having to employ and do the work at the same time. You know, people like to look at you today. They like to see the results, but they don't want to know what you've gone through to get there. You get what I'm saying? And nothing happens overnight, you know? I'll give you an example. Steve and I started business in 2009, okay? Our first dollar we made was in 2015.
Wow.
Exactly. So it was just work to get there. Now, someone will look at it today and say, okay, I want this. You can't just have this, you know? It comes at a price, you know? So yeah, I think these are the main challenges working in Ghana.
Thank you very much. I'm making copious notes. Those who are listening, don't worry. I'll give you a summary at the end so you are not lost at all. And finally, a few words of encouragement you have for us, things to push through. We've seen some of the challenges. What would you say are some of the things we should be mindful about as means of encouragement or motivation for all of us here?
Well, first of all, I'll go back to what I said, travel well. That's number one. Secondly, you know, I've heard a lot of talk about jobs, right? I think another thing you should also do is think of it differently. Try and think about how you can create jobs as well. Okay, it's in this digital age, you know, luckily you do not need too much money to start doing stuff, right? And I tell you, over this Corona period, I have come to realize so many different things that people are doing and making a lot of money from, even locally in Ghana. You know, it can be from taking existing things and making them better. It's like today you see this. It's called Baobab Pub. This used to be in the northern region of Ghana for a very long time. People used to drink it as a tea. People used to do different things with it. Someone has come, they packaged it nicely. There's plantain chips. We all used to have plantain chips and enjoy it. There's a 32-year-old boy who now has packaged it properly, Sankofa, and it will go anywhere in the world and compete with any, what do you call it, crisp or anything in the world. You take coconut chips. There's someone who has packaged it nicely and called it something. So there's so many opportunities out there where I think, you know, as opposed to getting a job, not everyone is entrepreneurial by nature. But what I'm saying is that don't close the door to that part of you that you haven't explored yet. You know, there's so many things that you'd be surprised you can take from Ghana and it can do wonders in Korea, for example. You know what I mean? I think another thing too that's important is, first of all, be realistic about your personal situation. Okay, with everything I say, I mean, there has to be that foundation. So you know yourself what is good for you and what's not good for you. Stick together as a group, I think, because, you know, some of you guys are going to be super successful. Some of you are going to be okay successful. Some of you are not going to be as successful as you want to. But what is important is that you should all be there to pull each other up. Okay? The moment one of you gets up, you should be able to pull 5 people up, 10 people up with them. So stick together. And that's why I said in the beginning that what you guys are doing with this thing, I think is very important. But stick together. And when anyone gets successful, be very happy for the person. Because I'm telling you, if we're all broke, where are we taking our business plan to? Who's going to fund it? You get what I'm saying? So that is also very important. Do some more exploration. Travel, go to neighboring countries if you can. Just see different things, you know, have fun with it. Take advantage of this social media age. You can sit anywhere in the world and do business anywhere. You know, nothing should stop you. And what do you call it? Just be open-minded. Just be open-minded. Remember, you do not need money. You will find it. So don't get backed up by anything and say, oh, now this is too much for me, or there's nothing is too much for you. I've met a lot of billionaires in my lifestyle, and I'm telling you, they are no different. They're like you and me. They just think differently. So it's a mindset thing. Just open up your mind to new opportunities, new spaces, and don't always think about jobs. You know, sometimes people get depressed thinking about things like that because, you know, I haven't got a job and a job and a job and a job. You look around and you find out that you have some hobbies that can even make you money. Mr. Lee will tell you, for a very long time, I had a big hobby, which was entertainment. So I used to throw parties. And I used to make a hell of a lot of money throwing parties, you know? But it was something I loved doing, right? And so I used to do it. So just be open-minded about what you can do. Ghana is a blank canvas. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits. When you come here, you will complain. Coming from Korea, you will complain every day of your life about something not working well. But like I told you, everything you have to complain about is an opportunity on its own. The question is it big enough for you or not? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I'm sure you can see everybody putting their hands together. I'm sure everybody is very much inspired by what you've shared. And for those who feel like they are missing out, we have a minute. Since the questions are not coming in now, we'll just take the opportunity to thank Mr. Jonah. Thank you very much once again for the time that you made for us and for sharing your experience with us and sharing your understanding of life with us. We are very, very grateful for you coming in today. And those who missed out a couple of points from Mr. Jonah, I'll just quickly run you through. Don't forget the opportunities everywhere. Be very mindful of networking. It is very important. People are important, and have an entrepreneurial spirit. Don't always think about finding a job, but think about creating a job. And always immerse yourself in the society you find yourself. Always take the advantage of wherever you are. Make friends, learn what works, what doesn't work, expose yourself. If you have to be vulnerable, go ahead and do that, but make sure that you are gaining something out of that. And with the challenges, the economy is always a problem. Currency depreciating is always a problem. And then the culture we have in our country is a big issue with time and everything. You always have to go and deal with that. So don't, if you're complaining about that, stop complaining and start moving past that. And the politics is always going to be a player, since most of our politicians end up making so much money. The system favors them. And the funding, there's always going to be funding, but access to funding is not very, very easy to find in Ghana. So it's important to make networks. And then there's always a problem with the attitude towards work. So those are the summary for the challenges. And for encouragement, be open-minded again, be realistic with your situation. Travel. Don't stay in Ghana alone or stay in Korea alone. Go to Togo, go to Benin, go to Cote d'Ivoire. Don't let the language be a barrier. Travel, see different things, experience different things. Celebrate the successes of your friends. If they do well, they will help you. And then finally, to hit it home again, be of a mindset of creating jobs, be entrepreneurial, and be of a person who likes to create networks. So I've done my best to summarize for all of you. Thank you once again, Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. Thank you very much. Our time is up, so I'm going to hand over to Nanaya, and she's going to take us to our last resource person. Over to you, Nanaya.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Quarantine. Oh, Mr. Jonah, this was very, very nice, because I totally relate personally in 2000, especially with the point of being entrepreneurial. If you are not finding the jobs, create your own jobs. I have a similar experience in 2013 when I finished my first degree in Ghana. And after my service, I stayed home for like a year, almost like 2 years, and nobody wants to employ me. So in 2015, I said, enough is enough. And then I created my own construction company. And today I'm a CEO of a construction company that is still moving strong from 2015 till now. So if you're not finding the jobs, it's true. Create your job, create your own job. And then you don't need money to create a job. It's true, because I had about $10. That was all I had, because I've been unemployed for like 2 years. So just $10. And that is what I started with. So you don't need money to start. You just need the passion and the vision. And that is exactly what I did. Thank you so much, Mr. Jonah. I totally relate. God bless you. Thank you so much. And so before we move to the next interview, I want to acknowledge the very honorable patron of GHASKA, Mr. John Sang Lee. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Chobi, and he's always been very passionate about anything Ghana. So, Mr. John Lee, thank you so much for joining us. We are very appreciative. We thank you for making time to join us, and we thank you for the passion and the drive that you always drive us through as the Ghanaian community. Thank you so much, Mr. John Lee. So our next interview is with this very exposed resource personality that has overseas experience. Actually, he's very enthusiastic about diaspora contributions back home. And Okay, I can see it's already smiling. So, Mr. Lord Afeti McMensa, your name is so nice, and your achievements and your profile is so compelling. Very, very welcome, Mr. Lord McMensa. Very welcome, and thank you so much for making time to join us here. I know you are the co-founder of the Global Union of Ghanaian Scholars, and you have a whole lot of titles. Like, I am shaking just looking at your profile, just like Mr. Jonah. Today is like a very encouraging seminar for all of us to follow in your footsteps. Thank you very much for joining us. You are very welcome, Mr. McMensa. Can you please introduce yourself briefly? I know we had something little that put us all on our toes, but can you, from your own mouth, please give us a brief introduction of your childhood, your personality, your education, your diaspora experience, and all that, and especially what influenced your career, you know, like your trajectory and all that. Please, a brief introduction, sir.
Okay, hello everyone, and Nanaya Asantiwa, our royal queen mother, we salute you, and a big salutation to my senior colleagues who came before me. I think this is actually not fair, all right, and let's be honest. And so because of that, Mr. President and the team that put this program together, they have intentionally hyped me and added so much to my name just to make me fit in. But I am nowhere near, you know, the lineup, the super talented, super achievers that we have put together today. Actually, I have learned a lot from them, and I salute Honorable Dr. Samuel Boache for the amazing work you're doing. You are a mentor. My son has always said to me that he wants to be traveling around and be going to conferences and speaking to people. And when they ask him why, he said, because I see you do that, right? So when as people, what we do is what we see, or what we see is what we do. It's not, you know, it's no magic. It's and so for what you're doing in Korea, breaking barriers and, you know, changing the narrative, you're opening doors, opening eyes, and so we salute you, Dr. Samuel Boache. I would definitely, you know, get connected and learn a lot from you. So thank you very much for that. And also, I want to salute my big man, the king himself, Dr. Jonah. Whether you like it or not, Ghanaians give big titles to themselves. You are more than a professor. If we have to talk about titles, then I salute you, sir. You're an amazing, you know, a role model to our people, and particularly the youth. So thank you very much. Once again, it's not fair to, you know, pair me with these amazing super achievers, but I will do whatever I can do to stay in my corner, you know, not to deceive myself. So yeah, thank you very much. I was originally born in Asamankes in the Eastern region, from Asamankes in the Eastern region of Ghana. I grew up there, and I went to Asamankes Secondary School. So you see, I'm a very humble beginner, and from a village. So everything I do is the village way. Yeah, again, half of me is also from Ningo Pram Pram. So Dr. Samuel, we are kind of connected as well. So that's great to know. So I'm a proper Ghanaian. I'm from 3 separate regions. So yeah. My life, yes. I was born by a woman who believes so much in entrepreneurship, and I will tell you, my life today is just because of my mother. And just like I said to you earlier on, whatever you see
as children, as people, is what you do. So you see Ghana today, a lot, people are complaining about corruption. People are complaining about Ghanaians not being honest. People are complaining about Ghanaians being thieves, Ghanaian workers being thieves and all that. And it's not a coincidence. This is the culture. It has become a habit, a tradition, and now it's a culture. So we need to watch that and see how do we reverse the clock. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do a lot of reverse psychology, and we all have to get involved. So I saw my mom organizing people and training them. So she goes, people bring their children, young ladies, and she trained them to become entrepreneurs. She trained them to become traders. They sell as well, and then they set them off. After 3 years, they set them off and they start their own business as traders. And I grew up, with a lot of women, ladies and young ladies in the house, so you can imagine, it's an exciting times growing up, sometimes you bump into, and yeah. So, and so a lot of my life is as a result of that. I like people. I believe in family. I heard Dr. Jonah said that it's about people. It's people's game. And I have seen these women, a lot of them support themselves, support others. And you see that this woman was changing destinies just by helping trained one woman. It changed a whole family, and they all become traders and entrepreneurs and have their own families and family homes and all that. So I decided that is the life I want to live. I want to live my life becoming a blessing to other people, right? Training people to become independent, because I think one difficult aspect of life is people being scared of making mistakes. All right. And I'm blessed with that. I love mistakes. I love to fail. That's what they call it. And because you learn from that. And when everybody said, oh, he's down, then, you push yourself, and then people say, oh, so that's what we need to do. We need to do it. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to do it. So I would say, yeah, my life was shaped, my childhood was shaped based on my mom and what I see my mom do to other people. And so I've decided to live this kind of life. So I have become what people refer to as a creator. I love to create opportunities. And so, yeah.
Wow. I am actually lost for words, but I have to organize myself back because I can listen to you for like the next day and not get tired. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, deal.
Oh. Okay. So right. Because of time, moving forward, I know that you just spoke to us about your career path and your passion and what you're passionate about and all that. So with your experience in life so far, what role do you think the diaspora can play, especially in the advancement of the development of Ghana, maybe the socio-economic part, or developments as a whole? What role do you think the diaspora could play in this for our motherland, Ghana?
Right. Thank you very much for that question. That is a question I'm living by with every day, written boldly opposite my pillow. So when I wake up, I see that. Let's go back a little bit in history, right? So every nation you see on this planet, successful ones, had a bit of input from the diaspora. People run out, people go away, and then they get goodies and bring the goodies back to the nation, all right? And so everybody's done that. People talk about China's development, and that will attribute, a lot of it will be attributed to the Chinatowns in other places. And when they go to countries, their aim is to get whatever they can get, send something back home, all right? And so Years ago, we saw America being the producer of so many things. All of a sudden, we saw China being the producer now. All right. So the challenge for the diaspora is not to feel comfortable where you are and forget about your roots. The only reason why Ghana is suffering today, personally, I believe it is because the diaspora is not genuinely involved in the transformation or the development agenda of our country. Okay, and there are several factors to be considered when you want to lay bare the arguments and the reasons why you feel and think this way. But the truth is, if we are going to change our country, it has to be a blend between those who are existing in Ghana and those who have traveled abroad. Whatever you have seen being done wherever you are, in Korea, in China, in Japan, in Germany, in the UK, in the States, Australia, wherever you are, what are the good practices? All of it might not be good for us. Our environment and culture might not be receptive to some of these ideas and processes and systems, but we can look at it, blend it, right? Modify it and see what will work for our country, right? And that is the role of the diaspora. The diaspora's role is not to go out there and sit down and say, now I have found a good country, everything is fine, and I'm going to be here. When I'm all done and have enough money, I'll build a house back home, show everybody I'm living in abroad. And then when I'm on pension, I'll go to Ghana. When you're done, how do you contribute to the development of the country when you're on pension? When you're old, 60, 70 years, right? So we're spending those years in other countries. But again, it's all because of how we are brought up. And listen to me carefully. This is what we all need to come together and do something about. Is the way we are trained, right? Our educational system, number one, it has to change. Where you are in Korea, wherever you are, look at the way you're being trained, even in education, right? It's all about teamwork. I studied in Denmark before moving to the UK. I studied in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, before coming to the UK. Everywhere I have been in Europe, I did a bit of education in Canada. Everywhere I have been in the Western world, the educational structure is about people coming together, solving problems, right? Whether it's research, whether it's practical technology, or performance education or practical education, whatever it is. It's people coming together, looking at a problem, trying to deduce what they can deduce from it. What kind of solutions that can be derived or arrived at solving the problem, right? And our educational system, number one, is wrong. First, we are paired against ourselves from day one, from primary school. Who is the best in mathematics, English, who's the best reader, right? And then we start. Hello?
Yes, please, I'm sorry. I don't know where the feedback came from, but I think we are good to go now.
Oh. Are we okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry. Right, so right from primary school, we are looking for the best in class. And I'm coming from the point of psychology, okay? So then we go and paste the results in the open on a notice board that everybody sees and see who is last. And you have no idea what that has done to all of us. Okay? Psychologically, and amazingly, I don't know how God made Black people, but we survive all this trauma and we keep pushing. So you're paired against yourself. You're fighting who is the best. Then from university, the same. Who is the best? Who had first class? Who had what? And then from university, when you graduate, again, the competition is still there. Who got job first, right? And then who bought house first or built house first? Who traveled abroad first? And even to our families, who married first? Who gave birth first? To the extent that even giving birth is a challenge. Marriage is a challenge. So you have all this. So your whole life is about competition, right? So when you come together, you're worried, because when you do anything together, it will show that it is for the group, but not you as a person. So psychologically, you're not really interested, because society will judge you based on what you have achieved for yourself instead of what the group has achieved. Now, look at the Western countries, right? They will do anything together. They know, even when they are robbing us or robbing any country, they rob together. America, Britain, all of them know very well what France is doing to the Francophone African countries. Britain did the same and is still doing the same. They see it, they pretend they're not doing it, nothing is happening, okay? And to the extent that even if they are going to bomb any small nation, they go together. Bomb with all these ammunition, and look at it, for instance, when they're going to Libya. Libya is just one small country, but America, Europe, Australia, they all came together to go and bomb it. That's what they do. They come together every time. Anything they are doing, they do it together. So if we can get this aspect of our life right, then we will be on the move. Communal labor. I used to see this when we're growing up. Even farm in Nobwa, people do it together. Building houses in communities, they do it together. And it's so beautiful. But all of a sudden, this adaptation of Western kind of Eurocentric systemic educational system that we have borrowed and is killing us. Somebody needs to start doing something about it. And we all need to start learning. And you heard Dr. Nathaniel Jonas clearly. It's all about connecting to people. It's people's game. So who are your friends? If you're competing against your own friends, your own blood relations, your own community members, your own nationals, where are we going? So we need to watch this. And this is why we decided that we're going to do something about it. The diaspora, from wherever you are, and now back to your question, is to organize ourselves, see whatever is being done in Korea. How do we take that back home together? I will see what is being done in the UK, somebody from Japan, somebody from Canada, Germany. Then we all come together and we need to find Ghanaian solutions to Ghanaian problems. That is what the diaspora's role is supposed to be. For spending your whole life stressing yourself, going through this education journey, and then being given a small paper to say, now you are a human. After you have this paper, you're now qualified to live your life as a human. And then you realize, even with that paper, whatever degree it might be, you're still not safe. You now have to go to the job market looking for a job. And that is a problem. So we need to change our mindsets. It's all about people. It's all about solving problems. And when we come together, it is easy. Today, we can do it. The internet is there. So wherever you are, let's come together and find solution to Ghana's problems. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know that I've been nodding the whole time because this is the sad truth. This is what is actually our issue in Ghana. Very, very sad truth. We have been competing among ourselves from infancy, and even when we travel out of Ghana, we are still competing among ourselves in our Ghanaian community. And you could see that there is no progress in the vision. So until we stop that internal competition that has been part of us from home, then we cannot make a lot of impact. This is really, really very sad about the truth, and we need to do something about it. Thank you so much for highlighting this and for enlightening us, because it is a sad truth, very sad truth indeed. Thank you very much, sir. we move to the next question. Very often it is said that the brain drain on African countries, you know, has a ripple effect on the economy of the country, let's say of Ghana. What is your take on this? Do you think that there is a very positive or negative part of brain drain when it comes to Ghana and then other Western countries or other foreign countries? As a diasporan, what do you think is the ups and the downs of brain drain right now in our dispensation?
Okay, thank you very much for that's another good question. Thank you, Nana. Yeah, like I said, I took it upon myself, or we took it upon ourselves to say we want to do something about this. It has some kind of dimensions to it, all right? Is it brain drain? Some people argue it that, you know, there are no jobs in Africa or Ghana for them. And so what do you want them to be doing in Ghana? Some others will argue that our educational system is not structured and is not modern enough to give our talented ones the opportunity to actually explore and express themselves within the industry. Okay, and then others will say, yeah, it is better to go abroad and then practice what you have learned and also learn from it. I like Dr. Jonah's expression or interpretation to exposure. So exposure is not just by people who travel, but we seem to think, yeah, that is the way. Of course, it is good when you travel. But here is the thing, right? Going abroad to study or get a bit of exposure, working experience, cultural education, it's a good thing. But where you stay abroad forever until you die and not produce or support your country in any way in terms of development, that is a big problem, and that is Africa's problem. And every side of the argument is right. People are right to say because there are no jobs, and others are right to say, hey, I have my life to live. The other aspect that somebody said that really makes sense to me is the psychological bit, where people say, when I was struggling, nobody helped me. Even scholarship, to get government scholarship to go and study, I didn't get it. So why would I be bothered about the country? And that's true. If you are not there for me when I needed help, why should I be bothered about you? So coupled to the psychological effect of our educational system, also there are some social and geopolitical issues that needed to deal with. We need to deal with that as well. All right. When you look at the Western countries, some of them have even programs to recruit talented, students or academics from our countries, right? Somebody will go to travel all the way, struggle, go through educational journey to become a doctor and nurse, and then Britain want them after they are done to come here, and then they have them for free after our government spends so much money to train them, right? And then you say it's brain drain, and the guy will tell you, listen, even where I was in Tamale General Hospital, there was no electricity, and I was learning nothing, and I need to practice, and I need to grow and develop myself as a professional. All right. So my issue is, how do we resolve this issue, these challenges? Have you seen it being done wherever you are? How are those people in the country you find yourself, South Korea, they're diasporans? Have you read anything about them? Have you taken your time to research and see the impact and input Indian diaspora made to Indian development, to Chinese development? And how do we now structure ourselves, position ourselves so that we can also be useful? You don't need to go to Ghana. You don't have to pack your bag and go to Ghana in order to support the development agenda. You can do that by sending your idea, your contributions in whatever way. Once we're able to create a channel, which is why I'm so happy that we have Dr. Jonah here, because we're going to challenge him to get involved with the things we're doing, with bringing Ghanaian diasporans, academics, and entrepreneurs back to Ghana to solve problems that is currently killing our country and countrymen and women. So we all now need to come together. We have to, and we must come together and see, wherever you are, in that factory you find yourself working, what is the secret there? Is there anything? Chinese are so good at doing this. They will copy it right now, right? I remember growing up, everybody was laughing at made in China products, that they are fake and blah, blah, blah. Today, almost every gadget you hold, China has a role to play, right? So practice has made China now perfect. The only way to become a doer is when you start. You will make mistakes, you will mess up, you will lose sometimes, you pick yourself up. But what is good is when you do it together, then you eliminate all these mistakes and failing, and then it becomes easier. So whether you are a lecturer in a university in South Korea or Japan or wherever you are, is there a system that you have seen that is working? How do we advise University of Ghana, Science and Technology, Cape Coast, that this is how it's been done in this country or this university? Can you have a look and see if you can do something like this? So we all now have to be agents of transformation and change. And whatever you have seen being done, even if it is the method of teaching, can we go and challenge our lecturers to do it the way we've seen it being done somewhere that is yielding a better results, right? So we all must contribute. No politician will be able to do this.
Yeah.
Our political system is, from the beginning, it's wrong. We don't know where we belong. Our political system, it doesn't look like the American one. It doesn't look like the British one either, right? And so it is all about politicians. It's all about politicians making sure they borrow money somewhere, get votes. Once they get there, then you have to pay back. And so how do you expect these guys to do well? And when all of us, the talented ones, are running away from the country, we're giving them scholarship, or some are living by themselves, go abroad because there are no job for them to come back. They stay abroad. How will Ghana grow? How will Ghana develop? I leave that with you, all of us.
Wow, this question. I mean, considering the fact that we are a politically confused country, this is a very difficult question to answer, but it needs to be answered. It needs to be answered. Oh my God. Thank you very much.
No, the truth is that, sorry to come in again, the truth is that in every country, you need the youth to stand up and bring the transformational change. They don't need to go and be burning down shops and killing people and fighting. No, organize yourself. Look at what Rwanda is doing. Rwanda, the diasporans from Rwanda, they are the ones making the change. It's not Kagame. It's not the administration. They only advise the administration to put measures in place that will nurture the work they are doing, right? So when we are doing well, we're able to influence politicians because after all, they know they can do it. So when we go on our own group and then we're doing things, making things happen, the politicians will start listening to us. There is nothing any politician would do in the UK where I live without consulting the experts in the industry, experts in academia, experts in the field. And so even with coronavirus, you go and type those who are the team that is advising the Prime Minister on coronavirus, about 96 of them now, and they are all professors from top universities, right? What is our professors doing in Ghana? What role are they playing? They will tell you politicians will not allow them. Why would the politicians allow you? You should find a way. You are the one who's supposed to be clever and smart. So find a way. How do you find a way? How do you get the politicians to listen to you so that what you know best, you can teach them?
Yes, so from our previous speaker, if I want to connect to what you're saying right now, you know, there is a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to our political system. Just like Dr. Tajona said, he was, I think he was going to be something about the MTN mobile money that we have now, and then the government's changed. Halfway through their transaction, the government's changed, and everything that he has worked for went downhill. So it's like that in Ghana. There is a bureaucracy in our government system. So it's like, even when you have innovative ideas, even when you have groundbreaking projects that could push the country forward, when you are identified as Party A or Party B would not want to push it once you are from Party A, and that is a problem. So every time we are starting from ground zero, every time we are going to start from, because when I start something and then I leave office, the next person that comes that is not from my party would not want to continue. He wants to do his own thing from the scratch. So we are always at the fundamentals. We are always building. How do we do this? Because a lot of us in the diaspora would have innovative ideas on how to help with this corona issue, like the professors you are talking about, but we are not encouraged. We don't have the support. You go and then you meet this bottlenecks, and you are not able to go on because you are associated with Party A or Party B. So how do we break through this bureaucracy? How do we go forward? Because we can't always be building from the scratch. We have to build from where the person ended. You come and you continue, because it is not for the party, it's for the country. So the country first. So how do we get the mindset of the country first, not a political party first?
Nana, I feel your passion. I feel your passion. Thank God for people like you who, and this is what we are supposed to be doing, the youth particularly, right? The youth is supposed to be asking these questions, right? And then we need to sit down together and find a way, right? So together, what are we going to do? We need to find a way, right? We need to find a way. So when we are mobilizing and organizing, we are not mobilizing as NDC or MPP, because then it makes it easier for the parties, all right? You see what they have done to Nooks Ghana? So they come in and they spoil you. So what you want to do is to mobilize with non-party or partisan agenda or mindset, right? Can you mobilize like that? And again, one thing we really lack, that is they are not teaching us, is something we call here, they call in the system here, like soft skills, right? How to manage humans and yourself around humans, how to manage things. So a lot of our people do not even know how to relate. You heard Dr. Jonah clearly talking about it's a human thing, it's a family thing, it's a networking thing. So who are your connections, right? If we can connect properly, whether I am NDC or MPP or PPP or whatever party I am, and you are whatever party, but if we can connect on a level where we say, let's put our partisan caps aside, mindset aside, and let's see how we can help Ghana. I was recruited to help in the Ethiopian campaign when they were mobilizing money for their dam. I don't know if you know about the dam project in Ethiopia. It was not the government. It was not the government. It was the Ethiopians. The diaspora started it. That enough, they want to go back. They've had enough of being treated anyhow by foreigners, in the foreign land. They want to go back home and do something. So they came together and set up funds, right? They set up a system. They came together. Right? Together. Somebody was from the US. He has a connection somewhere. You can imagine what connection Dr. Jonah is bringing on board if we are to come together and say, hey, Dr. Jonah, let's come together, and yourself and me and everybody, wherever I go in my life throughout my traveling, wherever I go. When I go to any city, because I believe in my network, I believe that my net wealth is my network, or my network is my network. So I know every mayor in every city I have been, and I make sure they are my friends. I know the MPs, It doesn't matter who you are. I don't belong to your party, but I know you. And I'll make sure I'm organizing something with you, creating that relationship. Connect to people, connect to those in power, people who have the last say, people who can make that phone call to ignite the change, to trigger the change process, right? If we come together, right? I may know somebody from party A, you know somebody from party B. If we need to approach that man from party B, we send you. If we need to approach this man from party A, we send this man. And together, our focus and mindset is exactly what the Ethiopians did and the Rwandans are doing, right? We want to make a change. And once that is happening, the politicians have no choice but to come and side with you, right?
Yeah.
They have no choice. Once you're making a change, once you're making things happen, you go to their communities, you go to their electoral areas and set up organization, bring the youth together, set up agro farm or something, agro business, something, and support, get connections and network and funders from abroad somewhere. Bring 2, 3, 4 youth together. Let them do pineapple farms, pawpaw farms, help them to sell it abroad. When things are happening now, even when they call rally, the youth will not be interested because he's going to farm, he's going to make money, right? So this is the thing. We need to start thinking and then doing something. Once we start doing, forget about the politicians. The politicians will always be politicians. But once we're doing well, yes, we leave them. We all cannot be politicians. Yeah. And the politicians, all of them too, cannot become entrepreneurs or change makers. So let's allow people to play their role. Just know who you are and what your gift area is, all right? And then you should have a life purpose. What is your purpose? My personal purpose now is to die empty. I don't want to die with any gifts, anything I've got in me. I want to die blessing the youth, being a blessing to the young people. Most of them, let me ask you this question, Nana.
Yes.
Did you ever ask your parents why they gave birth to you?
Not exactly, sir.
Yeah, I don't think any Ghanaian has done that. I one day asked my mom, I said, why did you give birth to me? Because I was thinking, what is my purpose on this planet? Why am I here, right? And one day I was thinking, I wake up, I go to school, I come back, I eat, I sleep, I wake up, I go to school, I come back, and I'm like, so I started thinking, so mommy, why did you give birth to me? And my mom told me that if she hadn't given birth, one society would have been laughing at her. The pressure from the society to get married and give birth, right? And so you're forced to do that. To some parents, it's hoping that you will become the savior of the family, to elevate them, to be a blessing to them. To some, they want their societal status, to say my son or my daughter is now a doctor, is a lawyer. So they will do anything, whether you're suffering, whether you cannot cope with the course they are forcing on you to do, they don't care. They just want you to become what they want, right? So you need to sit down and ask yourself,
it's 21 hours.
My purpose? What is my purpose on this planet? Why am I here? And how do I achieve that? Because the biggest challenge we have as Black people, whether we're in Jamaica, whether we're in America, or whether we're in Africa, wherever we find ourselves, is that question, to ask what is our purpose? And what are we going to leave on this planet before we go?
Very deep question. This is a very good note to end our interview. What is our purpose? What is our purpose as human beings, number one? What is our purpose as Ghanaians, number two? What is our purpose as diasporas, number three? What is our purpose? If you forget anything in today's seminar, don't forget this question. We need to reflect on
Nana,
it.
let me just top it up. You see, we don't even live life because we don't understand what life is. Yes. Africans, particularly Black people, don't understand what life is because, to some extent, yes, the events leading to our birth centuries ago, our life has been shaped by the colonial the empire and you know the race and rush for wealth and all that, trying to claim power and be, you know, the best. The West, particularly the Europeans, of course, has a lot. Of course, yes, that's right. But when you look at life properly, I went to Ghana, came back in March, and I was crying. I was on the streets. Every time I go out on the streets, I was crying. When I got to Asankragra, a village far away in Asankragra somewhere, I saw the people, everybody sitting down on the tree, under the tree, and people doing nothing. So I started asking myself this question again: what is the purpose of life? And if I were to ask those people in that village, the purpose of their life would be totally different from those in the city and even those walking on the streets and all that. But one thing that was common to me that I see that a lot of people don't see is how do we live life, right? How do you live your life? Life, do you understand life? Because we are not living, we are surviving, and we are all racing just to survive. You wake up in the morning, boom. You don't even ask yourself, when did I sleep last night? How did I wake up this morning? What is making me wake up and be going up and down? You as a body, this thing you see as a human being, we call it, is the best and the most powerful chemical factory in the world. You're filled with chemicals and energy. You're filled, you have the power to do anything you set your mind on. But do you understand yourself, life? What are you doing here? What is your role? The sun knows its purpose. It is to give life and shine. The moon, the rains, the trees know they are to produce carbon dioxide, or they're to produce oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. They are doing their bit, right? Everybody is doing something, but humans are missing the point. Some humans. And so you need to sit down and live. Everybody is busy. I was watching people in Accra and I was asking myself, wow, everybody is busy. Everybody want to do something. Everybody. You don't see people just sitting down, I'm going on a holiday just to appreciate myself and think about life and ask some questions and revive myself, this chemical factory. Yeah. And then one day you'll be going and you fall down and they say, oh, he was so active, he was so strong, nothing happened, he just slept and didn't wake up again. So what does life represent to you? And what is your life's purpose? Thank you.
Mr. McMensa, this is deep. Thank you so
life
much.
It's not about getting the best cars, the best houses, and then, because I've seen rich people having everything and yet they want more, as you can see with our politicians. So is that life? The right race? Wake up in the morning, go, come, and then one day, boom, you die. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think that with our dispensation now, the adage they say a lot in Ghana, Nipa Brema Owo. That is what is happening to us. So we do all the manual, we do up and down. At the end of the day, we don't achieve the purpose and then we die. Nipa Brema Owo. But that narrative has to change with us. It has to change with us. We need to find our purpose. Yes.
The Europeans, you know, almost bred for their race and their future. The Europeans almost bred for their race and their future. So today we have become second-class citizens. We're supposed to be the first-class citizens, but they fought. They went and grabbed everything. When they were hungry in Europe, they didn't have food. They went and captured Africans, used them as machines to produce food, and brought food to their people. We are here now. What can we do for our generation? The generation to come after us.
Very sad. We are very, very grateful to have very resourceful and experienced resource persons like yourself today to shed light on this very important life pieces for us, especially with our purposes as human beings, as Ghanaians. Thank you so much. God bless you, Mr. McMensa. God richly bless you for your input and for your time. Like I said, if you forget anything today, don't forget one phrase. What is your purpose? Now, Nipa Ebrema Owono, the narrative has to change from us. is going to change from us. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to Mr. Ferdinand Kranting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate and a massive thank you to the president, Mr. President, Mr. Kwame, and also the executive team that put this together. I don't think I was the right person to be here with the caliber of people you have, but I think I appreciate the opportunity and I've learned a lot. So thank you very much, and for your sacrifice also. You're doing your best and we appreciate you. Thank you.
We thank you for your humility as well. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Kranting.
Thank you very, 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 very much. I must say I'm very excited about this. It's been very informative. We got to see a lot of different aspects of Ghana as a topic. And we also got the opportunity to look deep down at ourselves and see what we can contribute. And it's not without any of us, you know, just going out and about, but we've all made it a point to be here. And I'm very, very grateful to all of you. But before we close up, I just want to once again thank you all for making this program very exciting and interesting. Most of all the resource persons who made it a point to honor our invitation and be a part of this program, from Dr. Samuel Boete to Mr. Nathaniel, Jonah, and lawyer McMensa. We are very, very grateful for all your contributions, and you've given us a lot to chew on. As per our outline, we're supposed to have the Embassy of Ghana in Korea to send a representative to address some of the issues we are having personally as Ghanaians living in Korea. But unfortunately, we were not able to have that session because the representative that was delegated for this program was caught up in a last-minute assignment that was unavoidable. So we want to apologize on behalf of the HCB committee for not being able to bring in the embassy representative to respond to your personal questions. But be rest assured that we are going to forward them to the embassy, and keep looking on the chats. Any new developments with regards to your question, we are going to be able to send you the answers as soon as we receive them. Thank you very much once again for your patience with us. We are very grateful to you and to our resource persons. To bring our program to an end, we would ask our president to give a final remarks, after which we would do a closing prayer and then finally bring the program to its end. So over to you, President Dela Kwame.
All right, thank you very much, our honorable hosts. I'm actually lost of words. I'm dumbfounded actually to have listened to this rich knowledge in one day, in a span of 2 hours. This is something that people pay thousands of dollars to sit in and listen to, but we've got this for free, and from these renowned resource persons that were willing to engage with us and to share their knowledge. But before we go, I know we 10 minutes past our time. Please do indulge me for a few minutes. I would like to ask some 3 questions, one to Dr. Samuel Boete and the other one to Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. So please, if you could please help me address this. So first to Mr. Nathaniel Jonah. I'm actually very curious. What makes you wake up in the morning and keeps you through a tough day? And the second question is there any incubation opportunity for startups, for starters, like young entrepreneurs in Ghana? And okay, so please, those 2 first, and I'll come with the last one.
Okay. What makes me wake up in the morning? I know where that question is going, but for me, literally, is my gym. So literally it's my gym. Whether I sleep at 6 or 6:30 or I have to wake up, it's a daily routine. I do it all the time. But I know what you mean by what makes me wake up in the morning. I mean, I think I thrive by looking forward to different things that I work on. Okay. Like I said to you, as we speak now, I'm working on this cable car project, which I think is extremely challenging, and I mean, it will be the longest in the world. It will be the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. It will be it's the kind of thing where I'm enjoying it. It's something I look forward to every day. Mr. Lee would tell you that we have another new project, which is a high intensity tomato project that we're doing. So they don't exactly wake me up in the morning. They keep me up at night. You understand? So the answer is I don't sleep much. But yeah, so that's it. It's just looking forward to, you know, what can be, you know, and what we're working on and what potentially could happen. I mean, imagine coming to Ghana and in a country where we don't have a good public transport, you come and you have a cable car mass transportation project with 534 cabins. Each cabin has 12 seats, fully suspended in the air, 11 kilometers, fully air conditioned, you know, no traffic, nothing, predetermined time travel, you know. Imagine that. I mean, it places Ghana, you know, ahead of most, even advanced countries. You know what I mean? You know, so these things, there's all these things we work on that keeps me up, you know. And frankly speaking, if I had all the money in the world, I would still be doing things, you know, that would, you know, keep me challenged. And that's one. Two, with regards to startup incubators, unfortunately, we don't have structured startup incubators in Ghana like you would have in Silicon Valley. You go to IT structured incubators. We have a few of them scattered around, but it's not structured well. And trust me, incubatorship without funding, really, it's like daydreaming. You know what I mean? Most of these advanced countries where you have like the Silicon Valleys, or in South Africa where you have the guys out of Cape Town, I mean, they have incubators, and alongside incubators, they have a network of angel financiers. You get what I'm saying? I know in Dubai at the moment as well, Dubai have set up something new where if you want to do anything IT based, right? You can register with them, right? But you have to register the company in Dubai, right? And then they put you in touch with a whole basket of angel financiers, you know? So again, like I said, even what is not available in Ghana, now it's a global village you can find in different places. So it doesn't have to be Ghana. It's all about what particular industry you're investing in, or you want to invest in, and how you want to move it forward. So yeah, so that's about it.
All right, thank you very, very much for that good one. I also wanted to know finally, how do you maintain political neutrality when you're doing this sort of heavy business that could be interrupted? I mean, in a split second by changing political power in those things.
It's a serious challenge. It's a serious challenge. In fact, the crazy thing about Ghanaian politics is, as long as you're not with one part, they think you're on the other side, you know, and it's very challenging. I mean, I have felt it with every government that has come past, you know, and it's a big challenge. Someone advised me that the best way to stay neutral is to give all sides money and sit back. So no one will say you never helped me, or you're not with me, or you're with someone else. But on a more serious note, it's very difficult, and it's a challenge. It's a big challenge to stay neutral. If you, okay, no, don't worry about it. If you Googled, I'm the CEO of a company called Griffin Energy Africa. Okay, if you just Googled Griffin Energy Africa, you see some news. You see some news. But yeah, so it's tough. It's tough, but we have to navigate it. I mean, we win some and we lose some. We've lost a lot because of this particular topic, but tenacity is the name of the game. We just keep going. We just keep going.
All right. Okay. On that note, I would say thank you very, very much for honoring our invitation and for sharing a deep insight into business in Ghana and what we need to do to survive the business industry. Some of us are also planning to follow in your steps. We hope that in the future we could engage with you more on some collaborations when we are trying to move back to Ghana, or some of the diasporans are trying to move back with the whole with the government initiative on the year of return and those things. We hope that we could also be able to work a few things here and there, and maybe your guidance could come in very handy to us. So thank you very much once again for really being here. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right. Okay. So finally, I want to ask Dr. Samuel Boite on the opportunity that you mentioned earlier regarding the English faculties in the Korean universities. I mean, is there any requirement that that necessitates Korean language proficiency? Because I know it's some of us usually a cutoff when there is some clause that you need to have some topic level to gain certain level of employment. I mean, is there anything like that?
No, officially there is no Korean language proficiency requirement. But then, from my own personal experience, you need to integrate into the system, and we know that the English language is not that which many people speak over here in Korea, and the same thing applies even in the academic environment. And so, for your own integration and survival, having some basic level of the language, I think is very, very important. Not relating to your job, but for integration and also creating relation in the university is very important. Yes. And so for me, my writing is not good at Korean language, but I try as much as possible when it comes to speaking. So I don't write, but I try to express myself, and that keeps me close to most of the faculty members. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for shedding light on that one as well. Okay. So on this note, I would want to once again thank our resource persons. So let me first start with Dr. Samuel Boite. We thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your deep knowledge in Korean, in the Korean system, and how this is really impacting our next moves as academics in the country. We also do appreciate very much our own Nathaniel Jonah. You've been really amazing today. You've shared so much insight into business in Ghana. We actually particularly also thankful to Mr. Johnson Lee for also giving us the link to Mr. Nathaniel Jonah when we needed it at a very important point. We really believe that his presence in GHASKA would also go a very long way to bridge certain gaps in the future. We also want to finally thank Honor Papa Lord. I salute you. I thank you very much for the awesome work we are doing in the diaspora. We continue to work together towards creating something positive in Ghana. We want to change Ghana's narrative. So come a few years, we want to see the cable cars, we want to see the subways, we want to see, we want to see all the amazing stuff. Then that you go there is 220 and then it's taking off. You don't have to wait Accra, and then stop on the way and wait 10 minutes and 5 minutes and all of that. So yes, I mean, we're really hoping to see amazing things happen in Ghana in the few years. And so we chat all of you here as diasporans to, put in the work. Let's go back and make a lot of change. I know we can, because all these countries start like this. Koreans really, I want to say something very shortly. In Korea, I mean, some years back, when they go abroad to work, they send some money back to their country. So you get your salary, you send a little sum to the country to develop itself. And that is how the diaspora also contributed to their development. I mean, Ghana, you don't have to send any money to the government, right? We only need to create jobs for people. And then you also get money, I mean, as a result. So please, let's think big. Let's go big. Let's have that. Nanaya is there. She's already a CEO of some construction company. You can contact her and then let her take you through a few baby steps. So thank you all very much for being here today. We are sorry that the embassy could not join us. They were caught up very last minute. There's something I want to share very briefly. We raised some concern about some MOFA certificate authentication issues, and the embassy did mention that if you have any receipt, okay, any receipt that you receive from paying any amount of money to MOFA back in Ghana, please do forward the receipt to us. We will send it. We want to compile, a very official inquiry, and then we want to have the evidence. So how much was taken from you and how much the receipt actually was, we want to see, and they want to know who was involved in that. Well, did you involve a third party? Was it a direct transaction? And then in which account you sent that money? We want to see the forms in which the money was paid so that we can really be able to get to MOFA to understand what is going on and to be able to pave a good way towards our future dealings with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs back home in Ghana. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending your 2 hours with us. We really appreciate you. We wish you a very lovely evening. We hope that the lessons learned here will not just stay in this room, but they will propel us towards having a very strong and a very active and a very propelling future come a few years. I want to see some of you invite me for some small tea. I'll just come and then, say, why are there more? And then we hold each other up. Let's keep this growing. Let's hold each other. Let's grow together. So fighting everyone. And I hope that the future will be prosperous for all of us. Thank you, our hosts, and thank you, everyone. If you can turn on your cameras, we want to take some short pictures so that we can have some smiley faces and a lovely Zoom photo. So please, if you can just in a few minutes turn on your cameras, we want to see your beautiful, handsome faces. That would be very great. Yes, I can see some faces coming out. Very awesome. We are waiting 30 seconds. If you could please turn on your cameras, we want to see all of you would take some photos right here. Derek Adams, you can help me. I will take some from my end as well, as many as we can. Okay, so we'll take 2 photos, please. Smile. I want to see the faces. Cheese will be good. All right, just a moment. Yes, I got this one. Okay, please wait. Okay, yes, I got this. Okay, and then to the next people on the other page, I want to grab another one. Yes, okay, so some signs like this or some, yes, good. Yes, got it.
Too short.
Yes, okay, so thank you very much. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it a day and an evening because we are in Korea. It's night here, it's a day in Ghana. So bless up, everybody. God bless you. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a lovely weekend.
Thank you very, very much. Before we all turn off our screens we're just going to ask Nadia AC to do a closing prayer, and then we can all get out of here and go to what's next for us today. So over to you, Nadia AC.
Can everyone hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
All right, then shall we bow our heads down for a prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to learn from one another, for this opportunity to be healthy and present. As we gather to close this marvelous event, we pray that everything we've learned will stick to us for the rest of our lives and become a fuel to motivate us to do amazing things. We pray that each and every one of us grow to fulfill our passion and purpose, that we grow to become leaders of our lives. We thank you for this blessing. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, the HCB group. Thank you very much, GHASKA. And thank you very much to all the resource persons who were able to make it today. We are very grateful for your insights, for your experience, and for the knowledge you have shared with us. Thank you very, very much. We have been your host, Ferdinand and Nanaya. Right, we're signing out. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you.